So can we go? Me, I'm ready.
Don't worry, I'll find out to do it.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bobi Wine, I would like to know who Bobi Wine is, what type of person he is, and yeah, just a little bit about you and your background. What's your story of life?
Bobi Wine. Bobi Wine is just a nickname. My real name is Chagulanyi Sintam, but Bobi Wine is a stage name. Anyway, Bobi Wine is the ghetto president. I was born and bred in Kamocha, one of the worst slums in Uganda. However, I persevered through all those hardships. I managed to make it on top. I managed to see myself through school, paying my own school fees and doing odd jobs from laying bricks to collecting water to make ends meet. I finally made it, went through university, managed to graduate, didn't get employed but created employment for myself, and today I'm one of Africa's most prolific artists. But most importantly, I'm not just an artist, I'm a social activist, and I would like to regard myself as a driver of social change. Yeah.
A little bit more about you, your family.
Yeah, I am married with children, but I have the belief that everybody is me and I'm everybody in society. So I believe in a holistic view of society. You understand? And doing things together, using what we have and what is available to push change and push transformation. My whole idea in life to bring a positive change to at least one or two lives. I always have this mentality of each one teach one. You understand? And when it goes like we keep multiplying and making things possible. Yeah.
And how has this growing up in one of the worst slums in Kampala, as you call it, impacted on your perspective toward life? How has it shaped you? What kind of attachment do you have with the slum life and life in general?
Well, now I look at life as much more realistic. Everything is real to me. Growing up in the ghetto made me embrace the word reality. You understand? It made me realize that nobody out there is going to do things for you, but you do them for yourselves. You understand? It begins within you. I realized that the possibilities to turn all negative to positive is within ourselves. I learned not to depend on nobody, not the authorities, not the government, but on myself. And that's the ideology I push to my people who call me their president, the ghetto president. I push that ideology to them. We are the kinds of people, I would like to say we, because it's not me. As I speak, I don't speak for only me, but for the millions in Uganda, East Africa, and Africa as a whole that think like me. Yeah, we don't wait for nobody to do things for us. Yeah, we drive change.
Unlike many other people, celebrities and artists, you have not cut ties with your slum origins. You've been able to go back and do some things for the slum dwellers and remain to be part of them. What are some of the things that you've done? What motivates you to do what you do in life, and how have you managed to? What are some of the things you've done?
Well, that is where I come from. I come from the ghetto. I'm a ghetto child, straight up. You understand? And I believe that the world is looking for a person who's going to do something, not one that is going to explain why he failed. You understand? So because where I come from, I realize that it's just the thinking that is the problem. We are able to do everything by just the thinking. So I try to start it, because once you start it, it keeps rolling. Yeah.
And what are some of the things you managed to start?
Well, some of the things I managed to start is I have the Ghetto Youth Foundation. That one, we move from school to school, community to community, prisons, repentary homes, basically all groups where mentally vulnerable youths are. we talk to them, and we have social behavior program, social behavior changes, social behavior change programs that we carry on. We have hands-on projects like constructing trenches and gullies in the ghetto, you know, although that one sometimes lands us in trouble with the authorities. Like, you know, it is I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know law so much, but somehow I got to know that doing a social project can be against the law when you don't get permission.
And how did you get to know this?
Well, because I landed in trouble, and I was taken to court by the Kampala Capital City Authority for, you know, constructing a trench in Kamocha without permission.
What was the problem with the trench?
Well, the trench was very dangerous. It was killing about 4 or 5 children a year, you know, because every time it rains, it floods. And when it floods, you know, it drains into houses. When it finds a baby sleeping, probably the mother is going to work or something. Now there's a ghetto death. It was posing health hazards, as you know. The dirty water from the trenches just when it floods, goes direct to the shanty houses, and that's where trouble. Now those are my people. It only took me bringing them together, and of course a little money which I could provide, and together we rehabilitated all the trenches. Anyway, eventually it was an opportunity. It came in a bad way because we got in trouble, but it was my opportunity to talk to the authorities and to show them that we are not rebels in disguise. We are not doing this social work to undermine the responsibility of the government, but probably we are doing what we could have done. The only difference was to seek permission, you understand, or to talk to them, but we are doing what we would have done, because I believe we as common people are also part of the government. The government is we. So when the government has not reached there, it's our responsibility to represent the government. You understand?
So in your view, based on that experience, how would you see governments and civil society, organized groups working together, collaborating to make sure that we realize how governments help people and how people can help government? In your view, how?
Well, in my view, it's basically relating, having leaders and the population in touch, having the government and civil societies communicate, because that way we can identify the problems. You can sit in as many conferences as possible, or analyze the people, analyze whatever, put numbers and statistics together, invite donors and everything. But if you don't involve the people in question, the stakeholders in the problem, then you don't coordinate. Take, for example, many NGOs carry out workshops here and there about cholera, about waterborne diseases, about that. But to me, I only see what's written on paper. What I believe in so much is the reality and practicality on the ground. You get what I mean? So I believe that if the governments or the leaders just bring those formal documentations of theirs and relate with the people that are actually on the ground, you will see that the problem is much more easily solved. Yeah.
So in your view as a musician, because you are a musician first,
yeah,
how do you think musicians and people like you, celebrities, or do you think you have done enough in Uganda to help bridge this gap between the leaders and the led? And do you think there is a role that you can play? And
yeah,
do you have any experiences that you can back up this way?
I can't say I've done enough, because I don't even think I can ever do enough, but I can give my contribution. You see, all my music since 5 years ago, there's this transformation called the BOBI Edutainment. I try to entertain people, but most importantly to educate them, not about physics and mathematics, not about history and geography, but reality. what is happening around them. I try to infotain them. I don't know if you get what I mean. To inform them about what's happening. You see, sometimes, most times, the population responds to it because I tell them exactly what. In fact, I just remind them because these are things that are happening right in before their own eyes. Yeah, and of course sometimes it lands me in trouble. Like recently, I released a song. I've been releasing some songs. There's a song I released called Ebibuzo, the questions. I was saying there are more questions, but fewer answers. Why everything is on the rise? Why we have to import food when we have the best climate and the most fertile soils on earth? You understand? And trying to give a solution that is underlooking agriculture that is putting us in that problem. And there's this song I released called Tugambire ku Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer is a big person in our country. She's the boss of the city. You understand? And what she says passes. You understand? You don't just open your mouth and criticize her. But I mean, yes, she's our leader, but there was a time when Kampala City Council was ruthless. You know, they evict people from the kiosks and from the streets, but they've not showed them an alternative. You understand? Yep. The people are ready to work. They want to work. They leave their homes, go find their merchandise, and come sell it on the street. At least they are trying to work. They have taken their part of starting to work. Yep. The role of the government or the authorities is to tell them that, yo, this is not where you're supposed to work from. You're supposed to work from here, and I will try to divert the customers and come there. Basically, that's how it was supposed to be. But instead, they were just arresting them, young, old, male, female, packing them onto a police KCCA trucks and dropping them in jail. What happens when these people come out? The next thing is you're going to see a rise in crime. We saw lots of iron bar hitmen, we saw lots of thuggery because there was no option. But if we come, in fact in that song I said, that I'm requesting the authorities to come together with the city dwellers and talk. You understand? Let the development come because everybody is embracing it. But don't just chase us around. Ekibuga nga kinakula kirina okula nga kiri wamu n'abantu. If a city is to develop, it must develop with the people, for the people, and by the people. You understand? Omukulembeze ayina kola nga ali wamu n'abaki n'abantu. A good leader is supposed to work while with the population.
How did Jennifer receive that?
Well, at first she took me to court, this and that. My buildings were going to be demolished. My foundations were going to be banned. The song was abolished, but it took just a few weeks, and the ban was lifted. I was invited for talks with Jennifer, and I made it clear to them that I am not out there to fight any wars. I'm not a politician whatsoever, but I'm just airing the small views because I did not come into this industry because I wanted to be so big or so rich. I came in this industry because I had something to say, and these are some of the things I had to say. I'm glad that finally we reached an understanding. The authorities came closer to the people, and they recently concluded carnival. I was invited to spearhead it. I invited the whole of Kampala for the first time. For the first time, you saw city dwellers and city authorities coming together, dancing together on the same streets, all people saying Kampala City Yafe, literally meaning Kampala Chibuga Chafe. Yeah,
there's always the belief that poor people don't have time to organize. They are so preoccupied with many other things. In your view, what do you comment about this? How would you advise that we mobilize poor people?
Okay, I think that's very wrong to me, but I would not say it's wrong to the person that said it because levels of organizing matter. You understand? The poor people only matter about the most important things in life, the basic things in life. You understand? The poor people are the most organized people because they are desperate. You understand? All they need is a good leadership. All they need is to be reminded. All they need is to be at par because the neck needs the head. You understand? The legs need the head. The legs do most of the work, but they need the head.
And what's your impression about many of them moving to churches and religion? In this case, as desperate as they are,
well,
we see many of them moving to religion. So, in this effect, what's your viewpoint about that?
Well, I'll be very honest. No disrespect to our leaders, but our people are moving to religion because they're searching for answers. They've been disappointed by their leaders. They've been disappointed by the levels of corruption.
Does this mean you're not religious?
The levels of impunity. I would not identify myself as a religious person. Not at all. I would say I'm much more realistic. You see, if you want this watch to move from this hand to go to this hand, you understand? You're not going to pray about it. You're going to use your hands and put it on this. You understand? So personally, where I grew up taught me not to pray about things. You understand? I don't pray about things.
So I imagine there's no prayer in your house.
I act. Oh no. My wife is a staunch born again Christian. She's the pastor of the house. I acknowledge that. You understand? Probably that's why we are married. So I can act on things and she can pray about things. You understand? There are things like school fees for the children. You don't pray about them. There are things like bills. I don't pray about bills. I don't pray about car fuel. I don't pray about things that I can do. You understand? I pray about things that I cannot control, like the rain. We pray to have the rain. I pray to God to give us better leaders in future. I pray to God, about things that I don't have control about. But things that I can control, I don't pray about them. When there's a dirty trench, you don't pray that cholera doesn't come. No, you clear it and you fumigate it. So I'm more of a practical person, not a religious person.
Okay, as we wrap up this,
and I would say our people are driven so much into religion because they're out of options. You understand? They have not been. Nobody has showed them what to do. Maybe prayer is the last option, but some things we have to implement them.
Right. Yeah. So as we wrap up this, I would like to, in your view, how would you like to see the government and other organized groups like NGOs relate with the ordinary citizens? How can we bring the ordinary people into the development pipeline and agenda?
To begin with, I would love to see the government much more open to their people. You understand? Much more open if the leaders always come back and consult the people. One, know what the people want, know what affects the people directly. That would be important. Two, to make government business public business, because when you work with the government, it's called public service. You understand? And if government has any secret, it should be a public secret. If there's a government toilet, it's a public toilet. If there's a government road, it's a public road. So government offices should be public offices, and government document should be public documents. You get what I mean? Everything about government should be public. And if I'm a member of the public, then I'm a member of the government. The government is us. You understand? That's the best way we are going to run this. You'll find that everybody is playing their part because they feel they are part of the government.
Any concluding remark?
Well, to my people, the ghetto people, the common people, they call them the poor people. I don't call them the poor people. I call them the common people. Everything is possible. They know it. They've seen it. You understand? If you're a young man out there and you think things are not possible, look at me. Look at my life. You understand? Just 9 years ago, I didn't have anywhere to sleep. You understand? Today, I am Bobby Wine, and I'm an example, the living example of a ghetto success story. Anybody can do it. There's no magic about this. It's just reality. So, believe in yourself. You can. And even the Bible, you understand, that I grew up reading says faith without action is null and void. So let's act about our faith. If you have faith in change, act about it. You understand? You know, it's not the government that is going to answer our most immediate questions. And if we have our most immediate questions answered, then we probably don't need the leaders to come. You understand? They can stay at the top. And to the leaders, come down to your people, man. We are the guys that give you the votes. Involve us, because when you're involved in the common people, you're nurturing future presidents, you're nurturing future leaders. Don't hide it from us. Let us learn from you, because you guys' time is burning out. The new generation is coming in. It needs to be inspired. It needs to learn. Make it open. Let us build. If it's developing, let us develop together. Even the common people have a role to play. Our President Museveni was giving his pre-independence speech 2 days ago, and he said the middle class is consumptive, but the low class is productive. You understand? So I wouldn't say they are just consumptive. Maybe they are constructive in a way, but at least you realize that even the low class is constructive. So give us chance to contribute to the development, and let's do this. Yeah.